All right, hi. Thanks for watching. This is my name is Andy Norton, and thank you for joining me here for this gameplay of Ironsworn Starforged. I am really excited to kick off a game. I'm just doing this game pretty chill. I'm doing it mostly for myself, but I thought I'd record it both so that I could listen back to it, but also so that I could show off this incredible game and game system and kind of show what you can do with it. So, yeah, this is Ironsworn Starforged, as you can see over here on the book. It is the sci-fi standalone sequel to the original Ironsworn role-playing game, which was very well known for being one of the best for solo role-playing games. Which, if you don't know what that is, that's where you are playing alone, playing a role-playing game, and you might be like, "What? How do you do that? Like that? Why would you do that?" But the game system really provides a compelling way to play, and it uses oracles and random tables in order to help you generate prompts for people, places, and plot kind of contrivances and twists uh, as you're playing, and therefore you're able to really play through a really compelling story that beat by beat is having interesting encounters with people and places and new plots that are popping up, and it's very, very, very fun. So that is the original Ironsworn, which you can probably tell from the name is set in a more fantasy, low magic, but sort of intense Nordic almost type of setting where you are generally playing it solo. I've rarely seen people play it co-op or guided, but people do that. I know people do that. Uh, However, with Ironsworn Starforged, I think it's great for anything. I think it's great for solo. I think it's great for co-op, and great for guided play, which would be more like traditional play where someone is sort of the game master, kind of, or the guide, as they're called here. But yeah, so this is Ironsworn Starforged, and I just want to get into it. I thought these dice were cool. I get to show off my new dice from, I think it's called Burger Token is the name of the company that makes these awesome spin down dice. And so I've got my, health, spirit, supply, I've got my momentum, and then I've got my stats up there: edge, heart, iron, shadow, and wits. So I thought that would make it just very easy to see on camera what we're working with. These are going to not change. Those will be our stats. Well, they might change here in a second when I actually create a character. But the momentum will go up and down, and as will the health, spirit, and supply will go down and hopefully go back up. I got a few assets here. And over here, I've got the moves reference. This is 4 double-sided sheets that I'm sure I'll be kind of flipping back and forth from to have all of the moves. So I can talk about that for one moment. The moves are basically how you play the game. Moves are oftentimes rolls, and oftentimes they're going to be an action roll that are triggered when something happens in the fiction. So in the book, there's a great kind of uh, image that shows you how the game is meant to flow from fiction to then a move is triggered, and that sends you right back into the fiction with the fiction changed and things more complicated and moving forward in one direction or another. So for example, one of the key moves is right here. It's called face danger. And I'll just read it off. It says, when you attempt something risky or react to an imminent threat, envision your action and roll. And then there's more there. But when you attempt something risky or react to an imminent threat is the bold text there. And that's what will trigger this move. So, for example, you might just say, well, the fiction is that we're there on a dusty desert planet, and I'm standing there, and uh, behind me, I hear the howls of wolves, of space wolves, right? Desert space wolves. And my blood runs cold as I realize I need to get to the town before these wolves get to me. And so I just take off running. I'm gonna try and get to the town. That's about 500 yards from me. Gonna try and get there before the wolves can catch me. So what you would do is that you could be like, well, I think that will trigger the face danger move when you attempt something risky or react to an imminent threat. So I'm reacting to an imminent threat. I'm envisioning my action and I'll roll. So envisioning my action, well, I just take off running, I guess. I just start running and I'm like pretty quick. Let's say that my edge is gonna be 2. So that's a pretty good score, a score of 2. And so this says if you act with speed, mobility, or agility, roll plus edge. And then it'll have different things here. So, if we were acting with resolve, command, or sociability, we'd roll heart. If we were acting with strength, endurance, or aggression, we'd roll iron. If we were acting with deception, stealth, or trickery, trickery, we'd roll plus shadow. Or if we were acting with expertise, focus, or observation, we'd roll wits. So that gives you a basic sense of how those different scores are going to come into play. When we act in these different ways, really in the fiction, that's going to prompt different moves, and oftentimes it's going to dictate what stat is used. And so to make this face danger roll, we're going to be rolling plus edge, it says. So what we do here is we take these dice. There's 2 challenge dice, our 10-sided dice. This 0 is a 10. And then there's the 6-sided action die. We're going to be rolling this, and this die plus our edge, so plus 2, is going to be our action score. And then we want to get higher than at least one of these challenge dice, preferably both. So we'll roll them, give it a good shuffle. Ooh, so that is going to be a 7 and a 9 on the challenge dice. We got a 2 plus 2 is going to give us 4 for our action score. So our action score is lower than both the 7 and the 9. So what this says is that if we'd gotten higher than both of the challenge dice with our action score, it would have been a strong hit. It says on a strong hit, you are successful. Take +1 momentum. So we would have actually gone up a momentum, and we would have just succeeded. We would have gone right back into the fiction of we reached the edge of the town. The wolves come up. They're still 50 feet away from us, and they snarl and they stamp their feet, knowing that we're in safety. That would have been the result. If we'd gotten higher than at least one of them, but not the other challenge dice, then we would have gotten a weak hit. Where it says you succeed, but not without a cost. Make a suffer move. So then we would have had to go on to make a suffer move and have some kind of cost. And you can imagine what that might be. But we might have gotten the wolves right at our tail, and they might have snapped at us and bitten into our legs as we were getting to safety. But instead, we rolled a miss. It says on a miss, for this move, it says on a miss, you fail, or a momentary success is undermined by a dire turn of events. Pay the price. Pay the price, which is a special trigger. And so what we have here is pay the price is going to be over on the actually on the back of the blue one. Actually, weird. Or the front of the blue, I guess, right here. So what it said was you fail, pay the price. We're not going to take a momentary success. We're going to say that we failed. So here, we did roll a miss. And so what we would say is that we are just running and we're clearly overtaken. The wolves, we hear the patter of their paws against the desert ground, and we hear their howls more and more victorious, that they can tell that they're going to run us down to ground. And so they're coming up, and they're clearly, they actually circle around us, and there's 4 wolves that are circling us, and we're still 100 yards away from the the city's the village's edge. It said pay the price. So with pay the price, that's over here. This isn't, or this is a special kind of fate move. It says when you suffer the outcome of an action, choose one. And we have options here. We could either make the most obvious negative outcome happen, or we could ask the oracle for inspiration. So that's a special move to ask for inspiration. Or we could roll on the table below. And if the result doesn't fit the situation, we could roll again. I'm thinking that the most obvious negative outcome is that we are now surrounded by these wolves, and we're going to have to face them down, probably in combat here in a moment. And so that's what I would say is that the obvious thing that's happening, the pay the price, is just that we are now, we've failed. We've gotten here to the edge of town, and the wolves surround us, and they circle us. They snarl and snap, and they're ready to leap at us. Do we have weapons? We should have weapons. I'm thinking that we have a blaster pistol, which only does so, I mean, it sounds good, right? But that's only does so much against these kinds of creatures. Let's just jump into the story. Let's just actually reset. So we got 2 edge, we said. Let's say we got 2 heart. Let's say we've got 1 iron, 1 shadow, and 3 wits. Let's try that. I'm not a super smart person in real life, but we'll be quite smart here. That'll be good. Yeah. So that's gonna set up our this. I just changed them right now, but this is gonna be our fixed stats. We have 2 edge, 2 heart, 1 iron, 1 shadow, and 3 wits. And we started off with 2 momentum. We've got the 5 health, 5 spirit, 5 supply, and then our assets are, we have a starship, we have a scavenger path, infiltrator path, and we have a companion survey bot, who's not going to be with us at this exact moment. We're going to say that the survey bot is back at the ship, which is in the desert space village ahead of us, and we don't have them near us at this exact moment. So I'm thinking that we now have to, these wolves are ready to fight. We're going to have to enter the fray. So we kind of turn around in a circle, right? We keep on spinning around and sort of with our hands out and just sort of looking like we're ready to do anything. We're ready, and we look quite desperate as these wolves circle us. I think they're kind of looking for the opportune moment and the weakest point. They look like they're studying us as they angrily circle us. And we, I think, should just enter the fray. So quickly reaching for our blaster, we reach for our blaster and sort of spin around, ready to fight these wolves, and ready to pick off. We've been surveying them, and we're gonna try and pick off the weakest one and sort of thin their numbers, because there's 4 of them. So here we go. We're going to enter the fray. That's one of the combat moves. And so for enter the fray, that's up here, it says when you initiate combat or are forced into a fight, we've just been forced into a fight, envision your objective and give it a rank. Okay, so the objective here, is it our objective to kill all of them? Or I'm thinking our objective is to kill enough of them that the rest of them would run away. So I think if we kill 2 of the 4, then the rest will run away. So we need to kill 2 of these wolves. Enough that they would run. And maybe we actually even know that about this kind of desert wolf is that they work in packs, and if they don't have a pack, like a real pack of at least like 3, then they are gonna not do this. So we said envision and give it a rank. So when you're doing something like a fight and or undertaking an expedition or making a vow or a few other things in the game, you use what's called a progress track. So for a progress track, you make 10 boxes. So we go boom, 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 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 boxes for this fight. And we have to give a rank to this challenge. So the ranks are important because what they basically mean is that while you're doing that challenge, whenever you make progress or mark progress, you're going to be marking a certain number of boxes. And let's just say that even to kill 2 of these is going to be, we're going to say it's not formidable. We're going to say it is one step lower than that. It's going to be dangerous. Huh. Does that sit with me right? No, let's say it's formidable. Let's say it's formidable. These are big wolves. They are nasty looking wolves. They're big. They're pretty fast. Obviously, they just tracked us down. So we're going to say it's formidable. So we're going to say it's formidable. And our goal, our objective, say OBJ, objective is going to be to basically scatter the wolves, right? Scatter the wolves. It's funny that we're playing Starforged, not the original Ironsworn, but we still have basically an Ironsworn thing of fighting wolves. Scatter the wolves is a formidable task. The reason why the rank is important is that when we mark progress for a formidable rank challenge, when you mark progress, you just mark 1 box. If you mark if you mark progress twice, you mark 2 boxes. If it was even more dangerous, if it was extreme or epic, you'd mark half a box or a quarter of a box, which is like insane things. Those are usually for like big, like for a background vow or something like a long-term goal. It's usually going to be those things. Or maybe an extreme challenge would be like a boss, right? Like a massive creature or massive, villain that you have to defeat. Formidable is sort of a default, but it's very challenging. You can dial it down once or twice. So dangerous, every time you mark progress, you mark 2 boxes. And when something is simply troublesome, then you mark 3 boxes every time you mark progress. Does that make sense? And what we're trying to get to is not necessarily 10, but we want to get basically in the upper half. And at any point after getting into like the upper half of the progress, we are going to be in a place where we could take decisive action and potentially end the fight, or sort of claim our objective. And it's like not a hard rule; it's a hard and fast rule. But basically, we want to get to probably at least 6 progress before we even consider taking decisive action, unless the fiction really brings us that way. So here we are. We are entering the fray. So we gave it a rank. We envisioned our objective, gave it a rank. If the combat includes discrete challenges or phases, set an objective with a rank for each. It's a pretty simple combat right here, right? Then roll to see if you are in control. If you are on the move, roll plus edge. Facing off against your foe, roll plus a heart. In the thick of it at close quarters, roll plus iron. Preparing to act against an unaware foe, roll plus shadow. Caught in a trap or sizing up the situation, roll plus wits. So we're kind of caught in a trap. We're also kind of facing off against your foe. I'm going to say we're caught in a trap or size up the situation. So we'll roll plus wits, which is great for us because we have 3. We've clearly been caught in a trap here, and we are sizing up the situation. We've been circling or spinning in a circle and watching these wolves. And suddenly we quick draw, grab for our gun, and whip it out, our blaster pistol. Imagine basically like Han Solo's DH-44 blaster pistol. It's that kind of weapon. And so we're going to roll plus wits to determine whether we are in control, which we'll see what that is in a moment. So it's going to be our action die will have +3. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. So there's a 6 and a 10. We got a 3 plus 3 is 6. Doesn't matter if you get the same as one of the challenge dice. It needs to be more than a challenge dice. So therefore we do not have a greater action score than either of these challenge dice. So therefore it's another miss. So a second miss. Here we go. Here we go. On a strong hit, we would have taken both of the following things. On a weak hit, we would have chosen one. We would have been able to either take +2 momentum and we'd be in control, or both on a strong hit. Which again, strong hit is if you're greater than both the challenge dice. Weak hit is greater than one of the challenge dice. On a miss, where we were greater than none of the challenge dice, the fight begins with you in a bad spot. So we whip around, ready to shoot, but we're in a bad spot. One of the wolves, I'm thinking that we, thought we could spin around and shoot the weakest wolf. But at that exact moment, this is back to the fiction, right? I'm just making this up. We spin around to shoot at what looked like the weakest wolf, but we hear a snarl as one of the bigger wolves jumps from behind us and is leaping at our shoulder. And so we're going to have to react under fire here is what I'm thinking. So react under fire. When you are in a bad spot, which is what we are, we're in a bad spot. So basically controls where we can take proactive actions. If we're in a bad spot, we're really being reactive. We can only do reactive things like react under fire. When you are in a bad spot and take action in a fight to avoid danger or overcome an obstacle, envision your approach and roll. And so what we're going to do is we hear the snarl and the leap, and we're going to try and spin away yes, like almost spin. Actually, we're going to try and spin and roll under him because we actually catch out of the corner of our eye. We catch him leaping at us, and we're going to try and spin and roll towards where he's leaping from, so maybe we can sort of get to the edge of the circle and not be surrounded. And so that's what we're going to do, or that's what we're going to attempt to do. Let's see. So this says if you are in pursuit, fleeing, dodging, getting back into position, or taking cover, roll plus edge. That is possible. Remaining stalwart would be heart. Blocking or diverting with force would be plus iron. Moving into hiding or creating a distraction would be roll plus shadow. Changing the plan, finding a way out, or cleverly bypassing an obstacle, roll plus wits. I mean, it's pretty clever what we're doing. But no, I think we're really, we're trying to dodge and get back into position. So we'll roll plus edge, especially since we've just rolled plus wits just a moment ago. So we're trying to do this. Let's go. Maybe we'll get some kind of hit. Get +2 from our edge. Hey, yes. So we got 6 +2 is 8, and the challenge dice were 2 and 7. So we got a strong hit. We were greater than both of the challenge dice. And so on a strong hit, you succeed and are in control. Take +1 momentum. So we succeed. We are able to dodge this attack by rolling towards the wolf and under him. And we are in control now. And as we spin back, and now we gain +1 momentum from that as well. So we'll go up to 3 momentum. I'll tell you right now what momentum is. So momentum is going to go up and down for different actions, or if we have to suffer the loss of momentum as one of our suffer moves. So it'll go up, it'll go down, but specifically we can burn it if it is greater than, I think it's just greater than 1, I think. Or maybe it has to be greater than 2. Yeah. Yes. I think I forget how high it has to be. But basically, if it's higher than 2, let's just say, we can burn it to replace our action score. So our die plus the stat, we can replace it with our momentum. Our momentum can go all the way up to 10 if we wanted to do that. So we can go all the way up to 10 with momentum, but to burn it, you go back down to your starting place of 2 and replace your action score with your momentum. So that could turn a miss into a hit of some kind. So now we're at 3 because of this move. That's momentum, but we gained 1 momentum as we had a strong hit and succeeded at that roll. So now we're back in control. And now we can do either we could gain ground or we could strike. I'm thinking that we want to just fire off a quick shot. Like I'm thinking that we just maybe even so we've rolled under the wolf, it's leaped. I'm thinking that we just try and shoot like straight into the butt of this wolf as it's leaped over us, and we roll back up into position and just try and let off a spray of blaster fire. So when you're in control and assault a foe at close quarters, roll plus iron. When you attack at a distance, roll plus edge. I mean, it's at a distance. We have a blaster pistol, right? So it's at, and we're shooting. So it's gonna be plus edge, which will be 2. And here we go. So we're shooting at him. Let's just roll. Ooh, oh no! So this is gonna be 2 plus 2 is a 4. It's lower than the 5 and the 5, so we are gonna get a miss. And when you roll matches on the dice, it is you get a match. And something else is going to happen. There's going to be either a twist or it's going to be even worse than you thought, that kind of thing. So we had a miss with a match. Pretty crazy. So here we go. So we missed. Let's say what the miss is first. On a miss, the fight turns against you. You are in a bad spot and must pay the price. And I'm thinking that we might want to, we could incorporate the match however we want to. But I was just thinking, we just try and shoot at this wolf. And why do we miss? I'm thinking that you know what? It's not that we missed, but we failed. I'm thinking that we shoot into the back of this wolf and realize our shots just hit the wolf. The shots just dissipate. And we gape in horror as we realize that these desert wolves have some kind of ability to where our blaster fire, at least striking along its back, is doing nothing. It's like almost as if it's absorbing it, or it's like just dissipating on its back. And that wolf kind of turns and like looks at us with this nasty look, and we are shocked by what we have seen. And so that's I'm gonna say that's the sort of, I mean, I think the twist is that they have some sort of ability. It's gonna make it harder for us to shoot and kill them. But also paying the price. Let's look at this. So what would be the obvious thing for us to suffer here? I think we could roll. Yeah, let's just go ahead and roll pay the price. So we'll roll on this table below and see if if it fits for us. So this is a D100 table, as there are many in this game. And so we'll roll 2 different colored dice. These are our oracle dice. The green dice is going to be the first die. So if we rolled, for example, if we're looking at them like this, that's a 74. So we'll roll and then see if it matches, and we'll keep rolling if it doesn't. So we got 81, which would be you are harmed. So that one wolf turns and like snarls almost as if it's like, you see this? Like, isn't that impressive? Or like, nice try. And we just gape and we're shocked by this. And we don't notice one of the other wolves hit us in the arm and snap at our arm. So we're gonna take harm. It's just like a small bite, as a maybe it's even the smaller wolf, sort of jumps at us and bites at our arm, but we're gonna endure harm. So what that means is let's pull up the endure harm move. Endure harm. When you face physical injury, fatigue, or illness, suffer -1 health for minor harm. That's what we'll say. So we're gonna suffer -1 health. Bring this down to a 4. I don't know why I struggle with that. These are spin down dice, so it's obvious which way you spin. And then you would lose momentum equal to any remaining harm. Then, if your health is 0 or you choose to resist the harm, roll plus health or plus iron, whichever is higher. Let's go ahead and resist because we have +4 health right now. So let's just go ahead and resist. So we're rolling plus health. So we actually get a +4. Just check this out. So we take the bite on the arm and we kind of groan in pain and sort of try to punch the wolf's jaws off our arm and move through the pain. All right, so it's gonna. Ooh, okay, well, got a 1 and an 8. So 4 plus 4 is 8. So we're greater than 1, but not the other. And so we got a weak hit. This says on a strong hit, choose 1. Shake it off. If you are not wounded, take +1 health, or embrace the pain. Take +1 momentum. On a weak hit, if you are not wounded, you may lose momentum, -1, in exchange for +1 health. Otherwise, press on. Let's totally lose a momentum to gain +1 health. Let's just do it. So we sort of power through the pain, and the pain almost, we it almost gives us new life. We shake it off. We shake off the pain. Or maybe we even use I would say that we use our momentum to sort of shake the wolf's jaws free before it can really actually do any harm to us. And so that's what happened. We used our kind of momentum, our speed, and advantage at that moment to shake off that wolf. But we're still in a bad spot because of our miss. Remember that we did that strike, and so the fight turned against us. We're in a bad spot. And so there's this little wolf right next to us and the big wolf in front of us. And so I'm thinking that we might need to clash. So clash is where it says when you are in a bad spot and fight back against a foe at close quarters, roll plus iron. When you exchange fire at a distance, roll plus edge. So I'm thinking we have to do this because we also don't know whether our blaster actually does anything against them. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually as the small wolf continues to try and tangle with us, and the big wolf comes in to attack as well, I'm going to shove the little wolf aside, and the big wolf jumps at us, and I will try and smack it across the face with my pistol. This is not my strong point, but I'm going for it. So we're rolling plus iron. So here we go. Oh, hey. So we got a weak hit. We got so there's a 10 and a 2. We got a 3 plus 1 because of our iron is 4. So we got greater than 1. We got a weak hit. And so on a strong hit, we would have marked progress twice. We would have overwhelmed our foe and been in control. On a weak hit, mark progress, but you are dealt a counter blow or setback. You stay in the bad spot and must pay the price. So we smack it across the face and we mark progress. The big wolf howls as we land our first real blow. So when we mark progress, we're going to put an X on the first box. And again, we want to get to probably at least 6 before we try and take decisive action. We marked progress, but we're dealt a counter blow or setback. You stay in the bad spot and must pay the price. So still in a bad spot, and then paying the price. Let's just go ahead and roll for pay the price. And, well, let's see. Or we could do the most obvious thing. Yeah. No, let's roll for pay the price. So let's roll and see what we get. 48 is going to be a new enemy is revealed. No. So we smack this wolf and it and it kind of maybe even actually, here's what I'm gonna say is that we smack this wolf across the face so hard, and it sprawls out across the ground, and it's twitching, and it's not clear whether it's even still alive. We give it such a good smack with a pistol, and for a second we are excited. uh, but just then, two more wolves come bounding into the battle. So now there's five of them, plus the one that is on the ground. Now there's basically six of them total. And we are in serious trouble. So there's now five wolves coming charging towards us. And what do we do? We're still in a bad spot. So I'm thinking we have to react under fire. And so I'm thinking that, like, they are not taking turns. This is not like the movies. They are coming charging in at us. And I'm thinking that there's basically like three of them who are coming in hot. And what do we do? Do we have to clash again? I think we just clash again. So I think what we do is we look at our gun. It just helped us out here. And we're gonna just try and start smacking them as they come at us and smack at their snouts. But if we fail here, it is gonna be, I think, serious harm to us if we fail. So here we go. We got +1 iron. Here we go. Oh, okay. It's gonna be a weak hit. Lower than the 10, but higher than the 2 with a 4+1. So a weak hit on a clash again. So we said, just a moment ago, we said on a weak hit, mark progress, but you're dealt a counter blow or setback. You stay in a bad spot and must pay the price. So we smack the next one that comes at us, and it's a pretty good hit, kind of pushes it away from us. We smack another one, and it goes like sprawling again, not necessarily knocked out, but this one's like, yeah, this one is it's like it's sort of shuddering, and sort of we hit them in the face again, and did some decent damage to this one. So we'll mark progress again. But the last of these three wolves leaps in, and what for paying the price, we're going to do the most obvious, which it leaps in, and it just buries its jaws into our shoulder, into our left shoulder, and we're right-handed, but buries its jaws into our left shoulder. We're going to take 3 harm, I think, right? It's serious damage. Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna say it's 3. We said, well, 3 -3 for major. No, we said serious. That's the wording we used. So for endure harm, it says for -2 for serious harm. So we're gonna do -2 down to 3. Is our serious harm as it bites into us, and we could again, as we're feeling the pain of these jaws just surge through our body. Do we endure? Do we resist the harm and risk it could be worse, or do we, just let it happen? Let's resist. Let's resist the harm, and so we'll roll. Hey, look at that! 5 + 3 is 8 over the 1 and the 2. We got a strong hit. On a strong hit, choose one. Shake it off. If you are not wounded, take +1 health, or we can embrace the pain, take +1 momentum. I think we gotta take +1 health. So we'll go up to 4. And yeah, so we'll go up to 4. Did it say that I don't think that we can. I don't think that took us back into control. Oh no, I think it did. Let's see, because that was a strong hit, and I'm pretty sure that put us back in control. Is that in combat? That yeah, here we go. Let's see. In control / in a bad spot. In a fight, your character is in one of 2 positions, in control or in a bad spot, blah blah blah. When you make a move that doesn't define your position, such as a suffer move, follow these guidelines. On a strong hit, you are in control. On a weak hit or miss, you are in a bad spot. So we're now in control. So again, the wolf latches into us, and we just are with the butt of our pistol. We can't really get a good hit on him, but we're basically just pounding at his neck to get the jaws off of us before it goes deeper into us. We smack, smack, and then just sort of knee it in the gut and shove this wolf off of us. And now we're actually in control. So at this moment, they've basically, three wolves have been thrown off of us here in the past moment. So we are now back in control. Uh, we could either strike or gain ground. Let's read gain ground really fast. When you're in control and take action in a fight to reinforce your position or move toward an objective, envision your approach and roll. Reinforce your position. I'm trying to think. So let's actually break for one moment and sort of think about what is around us. So we said we're in on a desert planet, but what does it really look like? I'm thinking that there is a low stone wall to our left. It's like a retaining wall for ground up above. A retaining wall, and actually up no next to the retaining wall is like a evaporator, a some sort of device that's helping to preserve water on this planet. And I'm thinking that we are going to try and step up and gain a greater place of advantage over these wolves. So with them sprawling out around us, we're going to try and grab a hold of the evaporator and hoist ourselves up over the retaining wall, like up on top of the retaining wall to this higher ground. Take the higher ground. So we're going to gain ground. We're going to literally gain ground. And as we envision our approach and roll, if you're in pursuit, fleeing, or maneuvering, there'll be edge. Charging boldly into action, coming to the aid of others, negotiating or commanding, we'd roll plus heart. If we were gaining leverage with force, powering through, or making a threat, that'd be plus iron. Hiding, preparing an ambush, or misdirecting would be roll plus shadow. Coordinating a plan, studying a situation, or cleverly gaining leverage, roll plus wits. I think this is gonna count as us cleverly gaining leverage, because we see this higher ground is gonna help us, and we think to ourselves, you know, I have the high ground. They won't. If I have the high ground, they won't dare try it. And we see cleverly. Quickly survey the evaporator and see how we can climb up it to get to the high ground. So we go to do this. We're using our wits. Here we go. So it's kind of +3 from our wits. Hey, wow. Okay, so 6 plus the 3 is a 9, which gets us over the 8 and the 7 for the challenge dice. So we get a strong hit. So it says on a hit, you stay in control. So we stay in control. On a strong hit, choose 2. On a weak hit, choose 1. So we can either mark progress, take +2 momentum, add +1 to your next move, not a progress move. I think we're going to do, I kind of would like to mark progress, but I don't think that actually matches with what we're doing. So we're going to take +2 momentum and add +1 on our next move. So +2 momentum puts us at 4. And we now are going to have +1 on this next move, which I think makes sense. We could strike now. We're still in control. So we've hoisted ourselves up. A couple of the wolves come snapping at our heels as we leap up. And now we have a moment to think. And actually, I don't know if we have to strike at this exact moment. I think we can gain ground again. Now that we're up here, I think that we basically can survey our best plan of attack here. And so we're going to, again, I think roll plus wits. We're going to coordinate a plan. So we're up here. We point our gun. We have our gun pointing back and forth between the different wolves that are either coming up and trying to see how they can get up to reach us, or they are sprawled out, or they are sort of getting up wearily from being knocked down. There's only one that's for sure like completely knocked down, but I'd say there's at least 1 or 2 more that are looking worse for wear. So we're going to study the situation and coordinate a plan. So we're going to be rolling plus wits as we just figure out how can we now best fight them when if we can't shoot their backs, at least is there some other way that we could defeat them. So let's roll, and this will help us to maybe figure out a plan. So Hey, oh wow, nice. So a 6 plus 3 again is 9. Again, beats an 8 and a 5. Those are some crazy rolls. And so we're quickly thinking, trying to think, how can we do this? If our blaster pistol couldn't, if it was just dissipating, if the shots were dissipating on their hides, what if they could do more damage maybe underneath them? Maybe it's just their backs. And so I'm thinking that actually, as part of this move, we actually are studying. We're looking at the wolves, and one of them actually leaps up, sort of gets a handhold up on the retaining wall, and we actually point our blaster sort of down its chest and try and shoot a blast to connect with it. And luckily for us, hit his chest, and it howls in pain and falls and dies. Another wolf is dead. We look at them and we suddenly realize that the back of their fur is all spiky and looks different than the underside of their body. So we see a weakness. And so what we're going to do, as it says, on a hit you stay in control, on a strong hit choose 2. We're going to mark progress because we just knocked out one of those wolves. And then we got to take. Oh, actually, we had actually +1 on that roll. But now we're gonna get +2 momentum is what we're gonna do. So we have 6 momentum. Hey, check that out. Going up to 6 momentum. Nice. And now we are confident that we can do something here. So I'm thinking that we want to. I think our thought is the next wolf that leaps up onto the edge, we're ready for it, and they're protecting their chests a little bit more because they've seen that we've seen their weakness, but we basically try to kick out at this wolf so we can then leap down and shoot it in the chest as we are going down. And so we're gonna strike. Here we go. We're gonna roll plus edge because we're still firing our blaster. Whoa. Okay. So 6 plus 2 is 8, but unfortunately it's lower than a 9, though it is higher than a 2. So we're going to get a weak hit. So on a weak hit with strike, we mark progress twice, but to expose yourself to danger, you are in a bad spot. So we kick this wolf in the face. It starts to fall. We jump down and basically land on its body and just, shooting into its chest, and it just absolutely crumbles and falls dead under our the weight of our body, our blaster pistol flaring into its chest. So there's another one dead. So at least 2 of them are just straight up dead. We got 5 progress, but we've exposed ourselves to danger, which clearly that makes sense. We just leap down back into the midst of them, and there's at least, I think, 3 more, two or 3 more that are fully in action. I think it's 3 in action. I think 3 might be dead. Two dead, 1 mostly dead, and 3 are in action. And they turn snarling, and they see that they really need to bring us down now. So one of them tries to leap on our back, and we're gonna have to try and sort of like wrestle it off. I think that we are gonna try and use our agility to sort of take it and smack it down on the ground as it leaps on our back. So we're going to do clash, and actually I think we have to use iron because it says when you're in a bad spot and fight back against a foe at close quarters, roll plus iron. And I think that makes sense. We could react under fire though. Let's react under fire. I think that will describe us just as well. So this is when you're in a bad spot and take action in a fight to avoid danger or overcome an obstacle. We are using our agility here, I think, to swing him off of our back. We're gonna roll +2. Here we go. Hey, we got a 6 total over the 4 and the 1, so a strong hit. So he leaps on our back, but we just twist and whip him off of us. And so on a strong hit, you succeed, are in control, take +1 momentum. We're up to 7 momentum. Nice. and throw him off of us, and we go to I think just to strike another one of these wolves. So there's two more that were looking like they were gonna go after us, and we just try to slide in, smack another one in the face, like underneath, and smack its face up, so that we can then blast it in the chest. So here we go. Ooh, check that out. So it's an 8 and a 4. We rolled a 1, and it would have been +2 to 3. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna totally, I think, yeah, we're gonna burn momentum here. So we're gonna burn our momentum. We have 7. So we're gonna replace our entire action score with just a straight 7. So it's gonna give us a weak hit because it's lower than the 8 still, but it's higher than the 4. Weak hit, it's gonna burn it down to 2. And so this wolf, we swing at its face, it dodges us, and we kind of maneuver our body with our momentum and smack it in the face again, and actually catch it this time, and then just totally rip into this wolf. And it is definitely close to death. This wolf, we're gonna mark 2 progress on a weak hit, but we expose ourselves to danger when in a bad spot. So marking 2 progress. There we go. We're up to 7 progress. So we could take decisive action at some point, but it's usually better to take decisive action if you're in control, because otherwise it's going to make it a little more difficult. So I think we at this point we're in a bad spot. We've just shot into this wolf, and it's rolled away. Again, mostly dead. There's like I think it's I think it even is, yeah, gravely wounded or dead. The first wolf that we had thought was maybe killed rises up slowly, and it's ready to fight again. It growls angrily, and it just leaps at us and is ready to tangle. So it leaps at us. It's basically got its front claws out at us, and we have our hands up, and we're gonna basically wrestle this thing down and try and overcome this wolf face to face. We're gonna clash with iron and fight with this thing. Oh, dude, check it out. 3 plus 1 is a 4, and it's beating a 3 and a 1. So we get a strong hit as we wrestle this wolf. We're like, it's basically a standing up wolf at this point, and we're wrestling it and with our strength, which isn't our greatest asset, but we are ready to end this fight. And so we are wrestling with it, and we just sort of twist its arms and throw it, and like threw it on the ground, and lean in with our elbow and just press into its throat. And on a strong hit, mark progress twice. You overwhelm your foe and are in control. So we press into his throat, and it's clearly close to death at this exact moment. So we go gain mark progress twice, up to 9. We're in control. So we're basically there on the ground holding this wolf down, and we've got our elbow in its throat. I think we're gonna basically take our elbow and just break its neck if we can. That's how we're gonna take decisive action. If we do that, then more than half the wolves will be defeated. The other 2 should scatter. So here we go. So here, what you do to take decisive action. This is a slightly different role. This is what's called a progress move. When you seize an objective in a fight, we're seizing this, right? We're trying to scatter the wolves. Envision how you take decisive action. So our decisive action is crunching the windpipe of this wolf. Then roll the challenge dice and compare to your progress. So we're not rolling an action die here. We're just rolling the challenge dice and comparing it to our progress of 9 out of 10. And so we could still miss if these are either both 9s or both 10s, or one's a 9, one's a 10. We could still miss here. But let's check this out. If you're in control, check the result as normal. If we were in a bad spot, we would have had to count a strong hit as a weak hit and a weak hit as a miss. So here we go. We don't want to see 9s and 10s. Oh, we saw 1 9 and we saw a 3. So we got a weak hit. So on a weak hit, here we go. Yeah, on a weak hit, you achieve your objective, but not without cost. Roll on the table below or choose 1. And if the fight continues, you're in a bad spot. Let's go ahead and roll on the table just for fun. So let's go ahead and take our Oracle dice. We'll roll on the table 40. So on a 40, it's worse than you thought. Make a suffer move. It's of -2. It's worse than you thought. Make a suffer move. I mean, what would be worse than we thought? I think that that the worst thing you thought is that this wolf still had more life in it than we thought. And so it, as we are, have our elbow in its throat, it reaches its paw around and is just ripping at our back. And we take 2 damage and cry out in pain as this happens. We're endure 2 harm, and we will again resist the harm. And so to resist the harm, you either roll health or iron, whichever is more. We only have 2 health now, so we'll roll that. We'll resist the harm. Let's do it. Oh shoot. Oh man. Oh, yes. No. We got a weak hit. So 2 plus the 2 is 4. It's higher than the 3, less than the 5. On a weak hit, if you are not wounded, which we're not wounded, you may lose momentum -1 in exchange for +1 health. Otherwise, press on. We'll do that. We'll lose 1 momentum down to 1, and to gain 1 health, just so we're staying. So we groan and twist our body to avoid the worst of its scratching claws. But then we just press our elbow in tighter and crunch its neck as we say, "Get down," and it just cracks, and it just and, and falls back dead. And the other 2 wolves, look at each other, and they just start running away and take off into the night. And so we slowly rise, having been bitten and clawed at and quite attacked, but not too worse the wear for having faced down these wolves. And we slowly rise and we pant and just look out into the night as the wolves disappear into the falling darkness. And then I'm thinking that we sort of take our long trench coat, like a long jacket, and sort of shake off the dust and the wolf fur, and we holster our blaster and walk away, leaving the bodies in the dust. And that was the combat. That was just a little bit of a fun experience with Ironsworn Starforged, and that's what it's like. That's how the game plays. That you saw full combat. You saw a progress move, progress track. That's how that goes. And trying to think of anything else, really. I mean, really, that's kind of what you do there. The adventure moves. No, I mean that's really it. That's like there's you kind of saw the whole of Ironsworn Starforged in that little bit there. Not the whole of it, but you saw really a whole bunch of what's going on with it. It's so fun. If you want to see more, like let me know. I guess I might just post this so that people can check it out, and let me know if you want to see more Ironsworn Starforged. Let me know if I did anything wrong. I'm quite new to the system, but let me know if I got anything wrong with how I was doing this. But yeah, this was really fun, and I hope that you enjoyed watching and listening. So thanks. Have a great night.